Have you ever been in a meeting, like heart absolutely pounding, mind just completely blank, and all you need to do is say one simple sentence in English?
Oh, definitely.
Or maybe you felt that sudden rush of anxiety, hands getting sweaty, just thinking about introducing yourself. If you've ever felt that pit in your stomach, that your English just sort of evaporates when you're under pressure, well, believe me, you are absolutely not alone.
It's such a common feeling, and it can be really unsettling for so many people. And in this deep dive, we're really going to try and tackle it head on. We'll explore some, practical ways to sound confident, even when you're feeling incredibly nervous inside.
Right.
It's a challenge so many face, and it's definitely not some kind of personal failing.
Exactly. That's precisely why we're here today. Our mission, really, is to dig into the core reasons why we feel so nervous speaking English. We've got some fascinating studies and expert insights backing this up. And then, the really good part, we're going to arm you with actionable strategies. Things for vocal power, body language, communication techniques. It's all drawn directly from our source material. Mastering Confident English. Speak smart. Conquer nerves.
Yeah, and you'll walk away with some genuinely surprising facts, I think, and some, remarkably easy tricks. We're not just looking at what you say, but really crucially, how you say it. And also that mindset behind it all. That makes such a difference.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. When we talk about sounding nervous, it's so easy to just jump to grammar, isn't it? Like, oh, my grammar isn't good enough.
Right, that's the common assumption.
But what the source material makes incredibly clear is that the real root, it actually goes much deeper than just rules and words.
It really does. Often, what's truly going on isn't about your vocabulary level or your verb tenses. It's fear.
Fear, okay?
Yeah, fear of making a mistake, fear of being judged by others, or that really frustrating feeling of just not finding the right word right when you need it.
Oh, that last one is paralyzing sometimes.
It is.
And just to underline that point about not being alone,
Yeah.
there's this compelling statistic from a British Council study. It revealed that 70% of English learners feel nervous during real conversations, even if they actually know the words intellectually. It's so widespread.
That's huge, isn't it? And that nervousness, it shows up physically in how we speak. Your voice might get a bit shaky, or maybe you start speaking way faster than you normally would.
Yeah, rushing through it.
Or the opposite, you might pause way too much, or just clam up and say very little because you can't quite articulate things.
And here's the kicker, right? We often think we sound absolutely terrible, that internal perception is just brutal. But often, to an outside listener, we're actually doing okay.
Exactly. That internal critic is often the loudest voice by far. But what's fascinating here, and where we can really make a change, is shifting the focus. Because confidence isn't just about the words themselves, it's so much about how you deliver them.
Right, which brings us to body language. It's kind of amazing what simple physical actions can do. Things like just sitting up straight, making yourself smile even a little, taking a deep breath. These aren't just, external things. The source points out they actually trigger a physiological response. They change how your brain feels.
Absolutely. It's like you're signaling to your own brain.
Yeah, like tricking it into confidence.
Pretty much. There's that great quote from Amy Cuddy, the Harvard social psychologist. She said, "Your body language may shape who you are." And this connects directly to that idea of faking it till you make it. When you consciously act confident, even if you don't feel it deep down, you genuinely start to feel more confident. It's like a positive feedback loop.
Yeah, I remember trying that. I had this presentation, totally nerve-wracking. And I just focused on standing tall, shoulders back, trying to smile, even though my knees were practically knocking together.
Did it help?
It actually did. It felt like my body was telling my brain, hey, it's okay. We can handle this.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something to it. And once your body starts to feel a bit more aligned, controlling your voice seems more achievable too. What are some of those practical voice tips from the source?
Well, some key ones are consciously slowing down your pace of speech. Also, really emphasizing keywords to help your main points land effectively.
Underlining the important bits.
Exactly. And maybe the most powerful one, don't be afraid of a short pause. Those little moments of silence, they don't signal uncertainty. They actually project confidence and give you a second to breathe and think.
Okay, pausing is power. I like that. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Let's talk about power phrases. These are like simple prepackaged sentences designed to instantly make you sound more sure of yourself, more professional, even if you're feeling a bit shaky inside.
Yes, these are brilliant. They're incredibly effective because they buy you time while making you sound composed. Some of the standout ones from the source are things like, "That's a great question. Let me think for a second."
Simple, but effective.
Right. It's polite, acknowledges the question, and gives you that crucial beat. Or starting with, "Here's how I see it." That gives you a clear, confident entry point. And one I really like for when you're searching for that perfect word. I may not have the perfect word right now, but here's what I mean.
Oh, that's good. It acknowledges the potential struggle, but keeps the focus on the message.
Precisely. It removes the pressure of finding the perfect word.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about other phrases? Any others that give you that little boost?
Well, simply stating your view clearly, like, in my opinion, adds a bit of authority. Or if you're drawing on experience, something like, "What I've found is that adds instant credibility."
Right.
And if things feel a bit chaotic or you need to redirect, okay, let's maybe take a step back and look at the big picture. That's great for regaining control.
Yeah, the real magic of these phrases seems to be how they empower you.
Right.
Right? They give you that little bit of space to gather your thoughts, but you still sound, composed and professional while you do it.
Exactly. Like a little toolkit you can pull from.
Like a secret weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me share a real-life example that just perfectly illustrates this. The source tells the story of Lynn from Vietnam. Apparently, she had really good English skills on paper, but was just terrified to speak up in team meetings. Her voice would get super quiet.
Sounds familiar for many.
Totally. So she started consciously practicing what the source calls confident posture, sitting tall, shoulders back. And she kept a little list of those power phrases we just talked about. And guess what happened after about a month? Her manager actually pulled her aside and commended her, saying she'd become the clearest communicator on the team.
Wow. That's fantastic, just from those changes.
Just from those changes.
Yeah.
It's pretty astonishing, isn't it? The impact of small, consistent actions.
That's an incredible story. And it really shows how small shifts can lead to huge results. I had a somewhat similar journey myself, actually. Back in college, I had this big presentation in English, and I completely froze mid-sentence. It was horrible.
Oh, no.
Yeah, paralyzing. But afterwards, I made this commitment. I started recording myself speaking just for a few minutes every single day for about a month.
Just talking to your phone or something.
Exactly. And listening back was awkward at first, but by the end of the 30 days, my voice genuinely sounded stronger, clearer. And more importantly, I felt more comfortable, more proud of how I sounded. It wasn't about perfection, just building that vocal muscle, that confidence muscle.
That's really powerful. And it reinforces that core message, doesn't it? Practice isn't just about, rote repetition. It's more like you're actively rewiring your brain. Every time you practice, every time you push through that little bit of fear, you're building new pathways. You're expanding your comfort zone.
That's exactly it. You're creating new evidence for your brain that says, see, you can do this.
That's the real power. The more you do it, the less intimidating it feels.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, there are actually some science-backed techniques that really boost this practice effect. One that the source highlights is called shadowing.
Shadowing. What's that exactly?
It basically means listening to a native speaker, maybe from a podcast or a video, and then immediately repeating what they said, trying to mimic their rhythm, their intonation, their emotion.
Like echoing them.
Precisely. And there was a study, I think it was 2021 in Language Learning and Technology. It showed that regular shadowing could increase perceived fluency and confidence by around 30%.
30%. That's significant.
It is. And it's simple to do. Listen to a phrase, pause, repeat. Listen, pause, repeat. Focus on the music of the language, not just the words.
Okay, that sounds doable. And building on that idea of listening to yourself, another tip is just recording yourself speaking, like you mentioned.
Yes!
It can feel a bit weird at first, maybe cringy even.
Definitely cringy at first.
But when you actually listen back, often you have this surprising aha moment. Like, okay, I actually don't sound as bad as I thought.
Exactly. It helps calibrate your internal perception with reality. It builds self-awareness and often boosts self-assurance because usually the reality isn't as harsh as our internal critic makes it out to be.
That makes sense. Break down that negative self-talk.
And one more science-backed tip that often surprises people, actively smile while you're speaking.
Even if you're on the phone. We're just practicing alone.
Especially then. Even if people can't see you, The physical act of smiling changes the muscles around your mouth and your throat. This actually alters your tone of voice. It adds warmth, it adds a sense of control, and listeners can often pick up on that subtle shift. It makes you sound more approachable and, yes, more confident.
Wow. Okay, smile even when they can't see you. Got it. Now let's talk about what might be the most crucial piece of the puzzle, the mindset shift. The source really hammers home this idea. Confidence beats perfection. But what does that really mean day to day?
Well, it means you absolutely do not need perfect grammar or, a massive vocabulary to sound confident and communicate effectively. What people respond to, what really matters for connection is your energy, your clarity, your intention to communicate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Connection over correction.
Precisely. Think about it. Even the most eloquent native speakers make mistakes, right? They stumble over words, they use slightly awkward phrasing sometimes.
True, happens all the time.
But the difference is they usually remain calm. They stay clear. They don't beat themselves up over it. They just correct course and keep going. They're kind to themselves.
So the advice for our listeners is, if your grammar slips up or you fumble a word, what should they do in that moment?
Just breathe. Maybe offer a small smile, even just to yourself, and keep going. Don't let it derail you. Confidence in this context isn't about never making a mistake. It's about your ability to continue communicating effectively despite the occasional bumps in the road. It's about prioritizing that connection. So wrapping this all up, what does this really mean for you, the listener? Let's just quickly recap the key takeaways from our deep dive. First, please remember, feeling nervous when speaking English is incredibly normal. You are not alone in that.
Definitely number one.
Second, you have tools. Leverage that confident body language, sit tall, breathe deep, and use those power phrases to give yourself space and sound composed. Third, practice is key. Embrace consistent practice using those effective strategies, like shadowing native speakers and, yes, recording your own voice. And finally, maybe most importantly, shift your focus. Aim for clear communication and genuine connection, not for impossible, perfect grammar.
That's a great summary. So here's our challenge for you this week. It's direct, it's actionable. Just pick one thing, one single tip from everything we've talked about today. Maybe it's recording yourself for 2 minutes. Maybe it's trying out one of those power phrases like "that's a great question." Or maybe it's simply remembering to sit up straight, put a little smile on your face the next time you have to speak English. Just pick one thing and try it this week.
It's one small step. And as you take that step, here's something to maybe mull over this week. Final provocative thought. How much of the confidence we project actually comes from that outward performance? The posture, the phrases, the smile, versus how much comes from a deeper internal self-acceptance? And could it be that truly embracing imperfection, letting go of that need to be flawless, is actually the fastest way to genuine connection and ultimately real confidence, not just in English, but in any language?